Hey everybody, if you're going to do the book report choice for the independent reading project, this might be helpful. I'm going to show you how I set up a template, and this is what my boys are going to start with to develop their, it has to be at least a page and a half book report. So if you want to use this too, let me show you how I set it up. So first off, you're going to put your name here, and then that's what says your name here. I've actually had college students who will leave that, your name here. I find that amazing. Clearly, you type your name here. You put your title here. Okay, so let's just cover that right away. Everything is written in single space, and I double space at the end. So if you write in single space and you have a page and a half, you're going to have 3 pages when it's double, so it always doubles. If you can get a solid 1 page in single spacing when you're writing, when you double space, you're going to easily make this 1.5 page minimum. So that's how I do it, because I like to see all the text together when I'm writing. These are the requirements for the assignment. So 1.5 pages is the minimum. Typed, obviously, because you're getting this. Double space it at the end. Your font is already set up to Times New Roman 12 point, and you've already got 1-inch margins on this document, so you're set there. Let me show you this outline. So here, what I did is I broke it up into parts. And these are questions that you can ask yourself and then come up with answers. And what I do is I just highlight this, and then I start writing, or I'll like start writing here. Who is the main character? Okay, so it was this guy named George, let's say. Did you like him? I liked George. Okay, what was unique about him? So now I'd start giving details. George was a 12-year-old superhero. He was short but really fast. Okay, so then I would go on, and I would give as many details as I felt I need to give to explain the character. Then I would talk about what is unique about George. George had a superpower, and then I would go on and I would explain what the superpower was. Then I would erase this stuff. So that way I know I've covered, this is like my first paragraph, and then I would work that into a paragraph, into full sentences. Or it might be easier just write it as full sentence. But you can see how I use the outline to sort of guide my thoughts and pull them together as I'm making them. If it's easier to take this and write below it, like literally start your paper down here, you could do that as well. Let me show you what that would look like. Okay, you can do something, if you're in Word, you can do what's called a split. Okay, so down here you could actually write it. Okay, and up here you could look at your prompts or your questions. Summarize the book. Who is the main character? I read the book, blah, 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 and the main character was a boy named George. He was 12 years old and had red hair. He was a secret superhero. Okay, and then I would go on to say more. Of course, we're going to indent there. Okay, so you can see how you're writing it here, but you have the prompts up here. That's a really great way to write, and I use that quite a bit. Now, I want to tell you one other thing. Here, I'm giving some details, right? He was 12 years old. He had red hair. He was a secret superhero. I'm saying these things because I looked over here at the rubric, and I want to be in the 10s. And being in the 10s is all about details. If you want to stay in the 8 and 9, be general, and you won't get there. So, project shows deep understanding of the main themes and events. So you're going to talk about that in just a minute. Let's look right here. Character part. Project shows understanding of the protagonist, so the main character, and which secondary characters are important. Student discusses if they relate to the character. So in your outline, first you're going to talk about your main character. Then you're going to give specific details.
Alexa.
Is 12 years old. He had red hair. He had a superpower, and then you're going to talk about the superpower. Okay. Then you're going to talk about the secondary characters. That's going to be like, so you're going to write more here. Who is the secondary? The book also had 3 other characters who were friends with George. Then I would go on to explain those 3 characters and how they work together. And so that's going to meet this part here. Understanding of the protagonist, which in my case is a guy named George. Secondary characters, why they're important. And so those questions are all in this outline. So when I'm ever given an assignment, I look at the rubric, I look at what do I need to cover to get an A, and I build those into my questions. And here's the important part. Student gives a clear, strong opinion and supports details. This details is the part about 12 years old, red hair, secret superhero. Then you talk more in depth about how the secondary characters relate to the first character. What happened in the story, who, what, when, where, and how. You can write a sentence on each one of those if you can't get them into more than, more like who and what into one sentence, etc. What was the main theme of the story? What were the main events? So that's the beginning, and these are each at least a paragraph. So that's 3 paragraphs there. That's at least more than half a page. What was the setting? Tell me about the book. Where was it set? Current day, future, past, and was there anything unique about the setting? Okay, she also, so is it on this part? No, it's on a different part of the handout, but she says she wants to know if it was a good book or why it was not a good book. And so you want to list 3 reasons. Then and that's going to be at least a paragraph. Convince a friend to read the book or not read the book. So again, you've got to give some reasons. And I thought it would make the most sense if you described your friend first. Okay, so my friend is Sarah, and she doesn't believe in superheroes. So reason number 1, she wouldn't read the book. So first I would describe my friend. My friend Sarah is 12 years old, and she has brown hair, and she's really tall, and she likes to play basketball. Reason number 1, Sarah would not like to read this book because Sarah does not believe in superheroes, period. Then I would go on and give a second reason. Sarah wouldn't read this book because Sarah likes to read books about, I don't know, whatever, science fiction. Okay, so you're going to give 2 specific reasons, but relate them to your friend so that these reasons are different from your reasons. Her reasons, your friend's reasons, his reasons are different from your reasons. Okay, cool. That's a paragraph. That's at least a paragraph. You could even do a paragraph on this part and a paragraph on this part if you give enough details. Conclusion. This book inspired me to, or after reading this book, I will never. So what did you learn from the book? After reading this book, I decided I never want to be a superhero because it's way too much work. It doesn't, whatever you think out the book. The last thing that you always should do when you're given a little bit of freedom is tell the teacher why you like the assignment, because a lot of teachers want to hear that. So I like this assignment because you gave me a lot of choices for how to do it. Or I like this assignment because I got to pick a book I really liked. Or I like this assignment because you gave us plenty of time to do it. Or I like this assignment, and then you add why. What did you like about the assignment? Find one thing you liked about it. I like this assignment because the rubric was very clear and I understood the instructions. Whatever you tell her you liked about the assignment, she's likely to do it again. So, if you like that I got a lot of time, say that. If you like the instructions, say that. Because then she understands what you value, what you found good about the assignment. And teachers look for that because they want you to be successful. Okay, so here was the beginning of my actual essay. And if I did it this way, I would just go ahead and write it all and then delete these things as I answered the questions. Or it might be easier if you start from a fresh piece of paper and use this printout, you know, as a guide. So hopefully that will be helpful. When you're finished reading, make sure you read it aloud to check for typos or errors in your words. You will not see them unless you read it aloud. You must read the entire thing, every single word, like literally put your finger on each word and read it aloud. That's the only way you're going to catch if you've missed a word or you have something in the wrong tense or a plural's off or any of those kind of things. And this should be something you do every time you turn in a paper. Any essay, read it aloud first. And then the last thing I always do is double space it and check my formatting to make sure it looks nice. Okay, so hopefully this is helpful. It's a pretty long little intro there, but it might help you write the paper. All right, good luck. Bye.